It is roughly 40,000 years ago, and you are crossing a rocky slope with your hunting group when your foot slips. You fall, land badly, and hear a crack from your thigh that your body understands before your brain does. There is no ambulance, no x-ray, no morphine, and no Uber driver willing to find the third cave past the mammoth bones. So what happens during the first 24 hours after an ancient human breaks a leg? First, forget the movie version. A broken leg was not always an instant death sentence, but in a world of predators, cold, rough terrain, and no antibiotics, the first day could decide whether the injury became survivable or fatal. The first 10 minutes are pure shock. Pain hits immediately. Muscles tighten. The leg may shorten, twist, or bend at an angle that silences everyone nearby. If the thigh bone breaks, blood can collect inside the leg even without an open wound. The injured person may become pale, weak, confused, or dangerously cold. Could you just stand up and walk it off? No, you could not. The group's first job is simple: stop the situation from getting worse. They keep the person still, press on visible bleeding, and avoid pulling the limb around. If bone has broken through the skin, dirt and bacteria now have a direct path inside. Prehistoric people did not understand microbes, but they could recognize a wound that became hot, swollen, foul-smelling, and deadly. Then comes the first serious decision: stay here or carry the injured person back. During the first hour, every option costs energy. If camp is nearby, several adults might lift the person, use an animal hide as a drag, or build a rough frame from poles. We cannot prove exactly which method a group used, because wood, leather, and plant fibers decay. But healed injuries in prehistoric skeletons show that some people survived accidents that would have made hunting, climbing, and travel difficult. At Krapina Cave in modern Croatia, Neanderthal remains dating to roughly 120,000 to 130,000 years ago includes several healed injuries. One individual had a well-healed broken collarbone. It is not a broken leg, but it tells us something important. Injured people were sometimes given enough time, food, and protection to recover. The stereotype of Neanderthals as brainless brutes was built by scholars reacting to a few bones like a man reviewing a movie after sleeping through half of it. From hour 1 to hour 6, the main problem is movement. Every bump makes the broken ends shift. Straight branches placed beside the leg and tied with hide or plant fiber could reduce motion. We cannot prove this was a universal Stone Age technique because organic splints rarely survive, but the logic is obvious. If movement causes agony, stop the movement. Now the group pays for one person's survival with everyone else's calories. Someone carries water. Someone gathers wood. Someone watches for predators. The injured person is no longer contributing in the usual way, yet the group keeps investing in them. Survival becomes a shared expense. Between hour 6 and hour 12, cold may become as dangerous as the fracture. A person lying still loses heat quickly, especially after blood loss. Fire provides warmth, light, and protection. Grass, hide, or folded material can pad the leg. Water matters more than food at first, but the patient may also need something easy to chew. This is where archaeology becomes surprisingly human. Shanidar I, a Neanderthal who lived tens of thousands of years ago in what is now Iraq, survived with severe injuries and long-term physical limitations. He had damage to one arm, problems with one leg, and likely impaired vision. Whatever happened to him, he did not survive alone. Other people tolerated his slower pace, shared food, and protected him. By hour 12, the group has probably reached shelter, or made a temporary camp around the patient. The leg is swelling. Bruising is spreading. The person may drift between exhaustion and panic. If the fracture is closed and reasonably aligned, survival is possible. If the skin is open, blood loss is severe, or the person cannot be moved safely, the odds become much worse. Hours 12 to 24 are not dramatic in the movie sense. No cure appears. Mostly, people wait. They keep the patient warm, adjust the padding, bring water, and watch for worsening pain, confusion, or fever. Thousands of years later, the Edwin Smith Papyrus, copied in Egypt around 1600 BCC from older medical traditions, described examining and immobilizing injuries. Hippocrates later wrote detailed instructions about fractures and splints, becoming the ancient world's version of the colleague who answers one question with a 12-page document. Useful, thorough, slightly exhausting. Here is the modern contrast. Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays in 1895. Humans spent almost all our existence treating broken bones without seeing through the skin. The machine is modern. The basic logic, stabilize the injury, protect the patient, and give the body time, is ancient. At the end of 24 hours, the bone has barely begun to heal. The real achievement is smaller and more important. The injured person is still alive, still warm, and still surrounded by people. A broken leg tested more than anatomy. It tested whether a group would slow down for someone who could not contribute immediately. That willingness may have been one of humanity's greatest survival tools. We were never the fastest animal or the strongest predator. We became the animal that carried its injured members home. And the next time helping someone feels inconvenient, remember, something deeply human may have begun when one exhausted person looked at another with a broken leg and said, "We are not leaving you here."